Before we get into this, I want to acknowledge something. We've already touched on parts of this idea back in episode 3 of Confidential Remarks. At the time, it felt like an observation. Since then, it's become clear that it's actually a systemic problem. And it's a problem this industry keeps tripping over. For those of you who may be new, Confidential Remarks is a running conversation where we unpack what's really happening beneath the surface of real estate, technology, and consumer behavior. This is episode 11, and today we're calling something out directly. What we're talking about is the definition trap. It's what happens when an industry confuses how something has always been done with whether it actually worked. Legacy logic starts protecting definitions instead of outcomes. And when that happens, innovation isn't just slowed, it's dismissed outright. My name is Steve Koleno, and this problem shows up everywhere in real estate right now. It needs to be named, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Legacy systems are built on gatekeeping. The belief is simple. If you don't use the approved process, the result doesn't count. Rigid steps plus exclusive access equals valid value. But the market doesn't think that way. The market only asks one question. Did the outcome occur? If the consumer got the result they wanted, the process becomes irrelevant. Value is defined by outcome, not permission. Transportation used to require a licensed taxi and a medallion. Lodging used to require a hotel brand and a front desk. That was the definition. But reality didn't care. People moved safely from point A to point B. People slept safely for the night. The outcome happened. Once consumers proved the outcome could be delivered without the old gatekeepers, the definition collapsed. Media was only considered real if it came through cable packages. Retail only counted if the purchase happened inside a store, but attention moved online. Commerce moved online. Content was consumed. Goods were delivered. Value showed up anyway. The consumer didn't ask permission. They followed convenience, efficiency, and results. Banking once required a branch. Education once required a classroom. Today, trillions move digitally, and knowledge is transferred remotely. Wealth is managed. Students learn. The trust didn't disappear. It relocated. Verification adapted to outcomes, not buildings. The definition changed because the result stayed reliable. Every disrupted industry followed the same script. Incumbents tried to protect the process. Consumers bypassed the gate because they only cared about the outcome. Under legacy logic, trillions of dollars in activity would be dismissed as invalid, but the economy didn't stop. It simply routed around the gate. We laugh at medallion-only rides. We roll our eyes at only cable is real TV. Yet we accept the exact same logic in real estate. Buying and selling homes is treated as untouchable, protected by tradition and complexity. But that doesn't make it immune. It just makes it late. We're told it's not a real listing unless it's on the MLS. Not a valid sale unless 2 traditional agents are involved. Not safe unless it takes 60 days and piles of wet signatures. This is the same argument taxis made. The same argument cable made. It's not logic. It's nostalgia. The objection is always the same. Real estate is different because it's high value, but scale has never justified inefficiency. We trust digital systems with our life savings, our future earnings, and our physical safety. The price tag doesn't excuse friction. Outcomes do. So let's apply the consumer standard. Did ownership change? Did the seller receive their equity? Did the buyer receive title and keys? If the answer is yes, value was delivered. Whether that happened through an agent, a platform, or peer-to-peer is irrelevant. The outcome is the only thing that matters. History is clear. Legacy logic always loses to consumer value. The winners in real estate won't be the ones protecting old definitions. They'll be the ones delivering outcomes with the least friction. Don't be the taxi medallion owner arguing against the ride. The logic has already shifted. The outcome is the only thing that counts. Everything else is just logistics. And that's really the point of this episode of Confidential Remarks. Not to attack tradition and not to dismiss experience, but to be honest about where the consumer has already gone. Markets don't wait for permission. They reward whoever delivers the result with the least friction. If this industry wants to stay relevant, it has to stop defending gates and start owning outcomes. That's the work ahead. And that's why we keep having these conversations. We will catch you on the next one.